So what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a fire video here. Instead of doing a career simulation like normal, this time we're going to go back to 1985 and put a rookie LeBron James into Michael Jordan's era of basketball. As it's been argued so many times how it would turn out, we're actually going to see for ourselves here. As you can see, a 22-year-old Michael Jordan is headlining this Bulls team, and we did indeed add LeBron to the Cavs. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new for your boy, as it'd be greatly appreciated on our road to 5K. As you can see early on, some of these teams are going to have their roster fillers because they did not have NBA teams yet, but slowly but surely they will fill in. MVP goes to Magic in year one, and rookie LeBron James gets Rookie of the Year. No surprise. Hakeem Olajuwon getting Defensive Player of the Year. And just look at these all-NBA teams, some absolute studs. Do our Cleveland Cavaliers make the playoffs in year one? No, they do not. Having the worst record out of all the teams without roster fillers in the Eastern Conference with 42-40. Although some very promising things statistics-wise for LeBron being the leading scorer on this team, with 21.3 points per game in his rookie season. So we're going to be watching the finals from the sidelines here. We got Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets up against the bad boy Detroit Pistons, I guess you can call them, because they still have Isaiah Thomas, but no Rip Hamilton and such. Rockets end up taking it there with Hakeem Olajuwon, 93 overall, getting Finals MVP. And we hop into the draft here in the first year. You see, obviously, a GOAT right there in Dennis Rodman coming into the league, number 1 overall. Mark Price coming into the league, and a few created players because their draft classes obviously don't have every single person that actually came in for rights and reasoning. But more importantly here, it looks like LeBron actually dipped after 1 year with that Cavs team and decided to go over to the Pacers, where he'll be playing alongside Herb Williams and, of course, Clark Kellogg, who many of you might know as an announcer in all honesty. Hakeem here getting MVP of the regular season, Thurl Bailey getting 6th Man of the Year, and Most Improved Player of the Year going to Chris Mullin. Bron making his first All-NBA first team here, and we do indeed make the playoffs with this Pacers squad, grabbing the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference with 57 wins, not too bad. Bron definitely starting to build his accolades up there with a great season. Jordan averaging the most points in the NBA, followed by Wilkins and Magic. And Hakeem putting on an absolute clinic there as well, 26.6 points per game and 17 boards a game to go along with that. First round matchup here up against a tough Sixers team that has Dr. J, they have Michael Thompson, and they have Charles Barkley here. Somehow we do end up actually routing them, which is a pretty big surprise. And pretty much a huge deal. I guess Dr. J is aged a lot at this point, so that kind of makes sense. Second round here, we're going head-to-head with a lot of people's GOAT, Michael Jordan and his Chicago Bulls team. More early on the Jordan's career here, and no Scotty alongside him, so let's see how this one goes. We do end up taking game 1 there, 23 from Bron. 31 piece from Jordan, could not get it done on 9 of 16 shooting. Going into game 2 here, can Jordan fight back and get a game here, or are we going up 2-0 in the series? And it's looking good for us as we take it with 140 in that game. 34 there from Bron, 31 there from Jordan. Up 2-0 in the series now, hopping into Simcast for a third time. Big game 3 here. Are we going to go up 3-0 in this series? And yes, sir, we are with a 25-point dub. Jordan dropping 29, but not enough for LeBron's 40-piece in that game. And this is the big one. We could potentially get a sweep over Jordan and his Bulls here. And we do indeed do so with about a 30-point dub there. Bron doing his thing, dropping a 32-piece. Jordan drops 22, but not enough to get it done for his squad. Our Pacers and LeBron James are moving to the Eastern Conference Finals in only year 2, where we're meeting up against a tough team of Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Kevin Micheal, and Robert Parrish. A very tough out here in the Boston Celtics, so a lot on the line here. We find ourselves up 3-1, and we take it in Game 5, 4-1. Herb Williams dropping 32 and 14. Bron dropping a 27-piece. And just some huge games there, in all honesty. A triple-double there with 35 points for Larry Bird. We're going to the finals here up against this Thunder team that, in all honesty, I don't think should have made it here. But let's see how it ends up going. Back and forth a little early on, which is surprising for who they have, in all honesty. Finding ourselves up one game here, 3-2 in the series. We could take it here or potentially get pushed to a Game 5. Let's see how this one goes. Will LeBron James get his first NBA championship in only 1986 of this sim? 1 year into the sim, in all honesty, the second season. And we do end up taking it there. Boom, 114 to 106. LeBron James averaging 26.3 points per game, gets Finals MVP there, putting up 28 in the big game there. Clark Kellogg following him right behind. And on the other side, X-Man leading them. Heading into the draft here, a pretty big trade there in all honesty, so let's see who goes number 1 overall. And they gave up a lot of capital for the Clippers to go out and get Scottie Pippen himself. Number 2 overall, another GOAT coming into the league, Admiral David Robinson going to the Raptors. So it'll be interesting each year seeing these GOATs coming into the league. And as you can see, Bron already up to a 95 overall here. And as you can see, with the team around LeBron is looking like a pretty solid team, but nothing too crazy, as obviously their headpiece is this 95 overall small forward in Bron. On the season, a huge year there from Magic Johnson, putting up a 38-point triple-double average on the season, which is just insane in all honesty. But LeBron ends up leading the Pacers to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Number 1 seed in the Western Conference is actually Hakeem and his Rockets. So it's going to be an interesting year here. Bron putting up 30 points per game, making a second All-Star appearance of this sim so far. Leading his team, of course, obviously Magic leading the entire league, followed by Jordan, Hakeem, Dominique Wilkins, and Mark Aguirre as the top 5. Our first round matchup here is going to be up against somewhat of a sus Wizards team in all honesty. So in theory, we should smoke this team. I don't see the talent like that on this team, and we do end up beating them pretty easily 4-0 in the first round there, with LeBron dropping 31, 8, and 5 with 3 steals. And now to be moving on to the second round here, where we have a little bit more of a tough matchup up against Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks here. Coming in as the number 6 seed, we were the number 1 seed, and we end up taking them out in 5, so only 1 extra game was necessary there. Dominique dropping 37 and 11 respectfully, doing his thing as well, putting us to the Eastern Conference Finals, where yet again we meet up against the Boston Celtics, Kevin Micheal, and Larry Bird, and the result very much the same as we take them out 4-0. Kevin Micheal doing his thing, but Bron dropping 37 points in that dub. Moving us to the finals here, up against one of the toughest teams in the sim, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon's led Houston Rockets team. The many-time MVP here, and Hakeem already early in the sim. It's going to be one of the tougher matchups. We find ourselves up 3-1 surprisingly, and we have the opportunity to take it home here, or they're going to extend the series, and let's see how this one goes. And it's looking pretty good for us here, in all honesty, as we end up taking it 119-96. They couldn't get it done on the offensive side of the ball. Bron averaging 32 points per game throughout the finals there. Hakeem dropping 22 and 13. And we end up getting Bron another championship early in his career. So having an insane run already, which is just crazy to see, in all honesty. And as you can see what our team's looking like, very much similar. We still have Clark Kellogg, and it looks like Herb has actually dipped. So, not too bad, but see, preseason power rankings have the Lakers as number 1, and they have us all the way at number 6 after winning 2 championships already in this early part of the sim. Magic Johnson almost having a 30-point triple-double season again. Danny Manning coming into the league, lighting it up, putting up 24 points per game and getting Rookie of the Year. And Hakeem Olajuwon getting Defensive Player of the Year. We finished 1 seed behind Michael Jordan and his Chicago Bulls. Western Conference is led by the LA Lakers and Magic Johnson. Tells you a lot about how this is going down, in all honesty. 31-point performance on the season for Bron. League leader in points is actually Isaiah Thomas, followed by Dominique Wilkins, Jordan, Jeff Malone, and Magic Johnson to round out the top 5 here. So obviously all incredible players, in all honesty. Looking at rebounds per game, pretty insane that David Robinson's averaging 20 rebounds per game. But I guess the Admiral's doing his thing. First round here, up against Jeff Malone, led Washington Wizards yet again. We did smoke them in the first round last year, and unfortunately this time we're down in the series 3-2 here, with potentially getting upset here. So let's see if we can pull it together and pull out a dub here, and it's not looking great. We go into overtime, and we end up losing by 1 point, 156 to 155. A tragic, heartbreaking 59-point game there from Jeff Malone, doing his thing. going crazy, so we can't really do too much there when somebody's dropping that much on us. Clark Kellogg dropping a 43-piece, but it was not enough. Finals here, watching from the sidelines, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem, of course, up against Jordan and the Bulls. Jordan has an opportunity to get his squad a chip for the first time in this sim, and Hakeem is there to play spoiler, and he does so as the Houston Rockets secure themselves the NBA championship, and Hakeem gets himself Finals MVP. Few ballers coming into the league here with Glenn Rice and Sean Kemp. Of course, some creative guys as well, but you see Sean Elliott as well. And I'm sure there's a few hidden maybe gems in the draft class as well that carved out some roles in the NBA. So you see what our squad is looking like here. Not too bad still. Bron and his next best player, Clark Kellogg, at an 89. Beyond that, a lot of around 80 overall players, so nothing too crazy around them. We're going with 4-star system proficiency. Hakeem having a crazy season there. 35.2 points per game, 21.3 rebounds per game. Glenn Rice coming in, shocking the world a little bit, getting Rookie of the Year there, drafted like 13th. And Defensive Player of the Year going to Hakeem Olajuwon, as well as we finished the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and Hakeem and his squad finished number 1 in the Western Conference. Bron putting up almost 30 a game on pretty good stat averages in all honesty all around. First round here, we're going up against Mark Aguirre, Muggsy Bogues, and of course, 6-man Glenn Rice, aka Rookie of the Year. But let's see if they can hold us. I don't think they can, as we come in the 1 seed and they come in number 8. We end up taking them out with pretty much ease there, 4-2-0. Mark Aguirre dropping a 30-piece. Clark Kellogg 16 and 28 with 7 assists. That was a pretty crazy stat line. So kind of the MVP in that one and not Bron. But second round here up against Chris Mullin and Bill Laimbeer with this Pistons squad here. Definitely a little bit more of a tough matchup than our first round. So we'll see what happens. We find ourselves up 3-0. They end up getting the game, but we take it in 5. Bron putting up 37, 5, and 5. Clark Kellogg a triple-double as well. Chris Mullin dropping 29, but it was not enough. Moving us to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're yet again up against the Celtics, and now they have Del Curry as well, who's definitely a baller. So let's see if that makes a big improvement. It does not. They still go out in 5 games like previous. 32, 5, and 4 there for Bron. Larry Bird doing his thing, getting us to the finals here up against a Lakers squad that now is Magic Johnson, Thurl Bailey, Domantas Sabonis, Arvydas Sabonis, and Dominique Wilkins. One of the toughest teams I've seen in this sim up to this point. In a little bit of a battle with them here. It's tied up 2-2. This is a big game here. Whoever takes the lead at 3-2. And it's looking like we're going to do it 140-1 at 14. Bron dropping 43 in that game. And Dominique dropping 45 right back, though. So this is for all the marbles. Go big or go home. Either we take them out here or they push it to a Game 7. And it's looking like they came with a lot of heart as they almost blow us out by 30 there. 162 points dropped by that team. Dominique 52 and 23. Magic 43 with 19 assists. Bron dropping 39. It's going to be a battle going into this Game 7 here. Both teams want this NBA championship badly. So let's see how this one ends up going. The Lakers got the slight edge here, and it's starting to look like it could be a blowout. As we take our first L in the finals here to the Los Angeles Lakers by 21 points in Game 7. Dominique Wilkins averaging 36.4 points per game in the finals there, getting himself Finals MVP. Our team kind of folded in Game 7 in all honesty, and the Lakers definitely didn't let up, as you can see. So hopping into the draft here, Gary Payton goes number 1 overall to the Grizzlies here. And let's see if there's any other ballers coming in here. There was no one else really too noteworthy, I suppose. So LeBron finally catches his first L in the finals. But that was an incredible series in all honesty, where the Lakers just went crazy, and they did have an amazing squad in all honesty. When you put together Dominique Wilkins, Magic, Sabonis, and Thurl Bailey, you got yourself a bucket-getting squad. Hakeem gets MVP there, averaging 33 and 20. Rookie of the Year ends up going to the Glove himself, and Defensive Player of the Year going Hakeem, as well as we coming in the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Taking a look at the season standings as far as points per game, you see Dominique, Magic, Jeff Malone, Hakeem, and then LeBron at number 5. Not too shabby by any means. For the big men, Hakeem just over 20 points, rebounds per game. And David Robinson not too far behind him. First round matchup, a scary one where we're going up against an elite big here in David Robinson, who is at 98 overall already. And a pretty good guard there in Mitchell Richmond, playing the 2 guard for them. So this could be a potential one where maybe we get upset. and it's not looking good. We find ourselves down 3-1 in the sim, and we get bounced in 6 by David Robinson and the Raptors squad. He put up 28, 4, 5, and 5, which is just crazy. Mitch Richmond dropping 22. Bron putting up 21, 9, and 5, and not enough to get it done. And hopping into this next draft class, Larry Johnson going number 1 overall to the Kings. Number 2 overall, Dikembe Mutombo coming in, going to the Nuggets, ironically. And maybe a few other guys maybe in that draft class. It could be some sleepers. Bron, you see what his accolades are starting to build up to a whole lot, in all honesty. Clark Kellogg, the second best overall on the team, followed by Nick Anderson, who's, I guess, one of the creative players. I'm not even really sure, in all honesty. So looking through what our squad's looking like, this is our rotations. Not too shabby here for us. And David Robinson gets MVP. Wow, crazy season there for him, in all honesty. Rookie of the Year going to Larry Johnson, putting up some great stats. 6th Man of the Year going to Vlade Divac, out of all players, which is kind of funny. Defensive Player of the Year going to David Robinson as well. Eastern Conference standings, we come in number 2, actually tied with the Atlanta Hawks, who were the number 1 seed, which is quite interesting. Bron putting up 31 a game, 4 rebounds per game, 7.3 assists per game. Some good steals numbers as well, doing his thing all around. And an interesting season here where Hakeem averaged the most points per game in the entire league. 2 bigs actually doing it as well, because you see David Robinson's right there, who of course did get MVP of the regular season here. Just kind of looking through some stuff. Steals per game being led by Stockton. And then Jordan and first round, we are going up against a team that did knock us out in an upset last year. David Robinson and the Toronto Raptors. And as you can see, it is going to be a tough fought one yet again. We find ourselves up, thankfully, 3-1, but we end up taking it in 5 a lot easier than maybe even I thought. Bron dropping 34 and 11 in that one. Drazen Petrovic dropping 34 against us, but it was not enough. David Robinson dropping 16 and 17. On to the second round here, where we're up against Reggie Lewis for the Cleveland Cavaliers as their 2 guard, who we definitely cannot forget is definitely a bucket, to say the very least, and we end up getting dropped off in 5 by them. Bron dropping 32, 5, and 5. Reggie Lewis dropping a 30 piece as well. So we're going to be watching the finals from the sidelines again, which is okay. Where we see this matchup up against the Hawks, and then the Nuggets with Moses Malone, Dennis Rodman, and of course Dikembe Mutombo off of their bench. They also have Spud Webb as well, so let's see which team ends up taking this. Will it be the Nuggets or will it be the Hawks team? And it's looking like it's going to Game 7. In Game 7, the Hawks end up taking it, and Kenny Smith ends up getting himself a finals championship there. Moving us into the draft, where you see an absolute dominant beast in Shaquille O'Neal get drafted number 1 overall to the Kings. Christian Laettner coming into the league, and a few other guys that are a little bit noteworthy, but we'll definitely show those off later in the sim if they start popping off a little. You see Alonzo Mourning and Latrell Sprewell, so some guys definitely to take note of coming into the league here. And taking a look at what our squad's looking like, still very similar. We still have Bron and Clark Kellogg that are kind of the 2 best on the team. Bron now an 8-time All-Star. Nick Anderson an 85 overall is our 3rd highest overall player. So nothing too crazy here. Like I said, pretty much LeBron, Clark Kellogg, and some 80 overalls around them. Rookie of the Year going to Shaq here, putting up 19.2 and 10 in his rookie season. 6th Man of the Year going to Tony Kukoc. And Defensive Player of the Year going to David Robinson, as we come in with 51 wins on the season this year. 31.8 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 7.8 assists a game for LeBron here. Definitely building up his accolades like crazy, to say the very least. Looking at how the league kind of shaped out in general, Hakeem, who is MVP, putting up 34 and 21 a game. Some of the numbers that these bigs have been putting up is insane. 3rd highest score was Sleepy Floyd, followed by Terry Porter at number 4. Definitely some wild cards to get that. We are here in the Eastern Conference Finals, where we're up against Glenn Rice, Otis Thorpe, Doc Rivers, and this Orlando Magic team that was actually the number 1 overall seed heading into the season and playoffs. And we find ourselves down a game here, so let's see if we can take it here and push it to Game 7, or if we get knocked out by the Magic here. Pretty gritty going into the 4th quarter, and we end up taking it by 20 points there. Bron dropping 44, 8, and 6 there to help us get it done. On the other side of the ball, Ronnie Skeely actually led their team. So we're going to Game 7 here, make it or break it to go to the finals. And it's not looking great for us here, as we get bounced by about 30 points there. O.J. Bird, Glenn Rice, Ronnie Skeely, all popping off. Bron dropping 27, but it was not enough. So that team's going to be in the finals up against the tandem of Stockton and Malone. Obviously, one of the best duos of all time, in all honesty. A lot of people don't like Malone for the off-court things he did, which is understandable, but definitely one of the best NBA duos of all time, regardless. So here we go, hopping into another season. David Robinson ends up getting a regular season MVP. Chris Webber coming in with Rookie of the Year. Our first round matchup up against this Miami Heat team that has a Chuck that's a little bit older on it. Charles Barkley holding down the power forward position. Still the highest overall, but starting to come down overall at this point in his career. And we find ourselves up 3-1, and we end up bouncing that team in 5 games. Bron dropping 54, 10, and 11 in that big Game 5 there. Back up against the Magic that bounced us in 7 last year. Let's see if we can have some better luck this year and make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's not looking good as we're down 3-1, and we end up getting bounced in 5 by this team. They're giving out some gas to us, 32 from Bron. And we're just going to hop right into the draft. Some great players coming in this year. Jason Kidd coming in number 1 overall. Grant Hill number 2 overall. And let's see if there's anybody else noteworthy. No one too crazy, honestly. Hopping into the beginning of the season here, you see what our rotations are looking like. Some of the younger guys are starting to come up in overall a little bit. Clark Kellogg down to an 84 overall, so he's starting to hit some regression. Rookie of the Year going to Jason Kidd. David Robinson getting MVP. Shaq getting Defensive Player of the Year. And our first round matchup is going to be up against, yet again, Drazen Petrovic, David Robinson, and Mitch Richmond here in the first round. Definitely a tough one. Hopefully we can keep it together, and we actually do. Keeping ourselves and sweeping them 4-0, which is surprising because obviously David Robinson is much better at this point in his career than Clark Kellogg. Second round here, we're going up against one of the best scorers in the league, Sleepy Floyd and Arvydas Sabonis, who are up 2-0 on us, but we do fight back. We get it to a 3-2 series. We need this game to push it to a Game 7. Hopefully we can clutch up here and beat this Brooklyn Nets team, and it's very back and forth, and unfortunately we end up losing by 9. Clark Kellogg dropping 22 and 17. Bron not having his greatest game there. Sleepy Floyd dropping a 27-piece. Kendall Gill also dropping a 30-piece. Watching the finals from the sidelines here, that Nets team ends up going to the finals here up against this Houston Rockets team. Daryl Griffin, I'm pretty sure this guy has a son that's actually in college right now that's super tiny. If I'm wrong, be sure to correct me, but I'm pretty sure he is. I forget what team he is on, like UMBC or something like that. And Hakeem is actually their big man at center. They end up sweeping that team. Hakeem getting himself another Finals MVP there. We add Nick Van Exel at the point guard position, which is definitely a piece that is helpful for the squad to say the very least. And let's hope this season goes pretty well. David Robinson here getting 26.9 points per game and 20 rebounds a game. One of the random creative players getting Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year going to Shaq already. And you see some of the rookies that came in the league were guys like Kevin Garnett and such, but they did not get any of the awards. Jordan leading the league in scoring here with the OKC Thunder. And in our first round of the playoffs here, we're going to be up against the Detroit Pistons, who are actually led by Danny Manning. Actually, not too much of that whole bad boy Pistons vibes is actually on the squad. So let's see how this ends up going. And we are the number 8 seed, so we would need a pretty big upset here as we are in a battle right here. And we get knocked out in 6, which is quite unfortunate. LeBron really not putting up too great of a stat line there, only dropping 19 points, which is, of course, not going to get it done in all honesty. The Pistons end up making it to the finals here, where they're going to be up against Scottie Pippen, Thurl Bailey, and the San Antonio Spurs here. So let's see which team ends up taking it. Will this Pistons squad and Danny Manning do it, or will Scottie Pippen clutch up? And it's going to a Game 7. And in Game 7, the Pistons end up taking it, and Danny Manning gets Finals MVP. Moving us into the draft here, let's see the guys that are coming in. Stephon Marbury going number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks here. And let's see if there's anybody else noteworthy. A trade here. Kind of a big trade, in all honesty. Horace Grant going to that team to move up. Allen Iverson is the number 2 overall pick there. That's huge for the Lakers, of course. Quite interesting to see who else goes where. Marcus Camby going number 3 overall. Number 4, wow, the Bucks get themselves Kobe Bryant. And this is an insane beginning of the draft so far. Let's see who the number 5 pick is as well. Steve Nash. So the Lakers got themselves both Steve Nash and AI in that draft. That's insane. Moving us into year 12 here. Bron still chilling at a 99 overall. Well, let's see how this season goes. Shaq gets MVP going crazy there, 28 and 17 a game with 4.4 blocks a game. And let's see which one of those guys actually gets Rookie of the Year. And out of all of them, it's Stephon Marbury putting up about 38 points a game, which is just absolutely nuts. Leading the entire league in scoring as a rookie. That is something you don't see. Looking at the rookie standings, it's even crazier to look at these stats between the top guys here. Even Peja Stojakovic coming out over 20 points a game as a rookie. We do not make it to the finals, but there is a team of Penny Hardaway, Clyde Drexler, Shawn Kemp, and the Trailblazers here up against the Miami Heat that have Charles Barkley as well. So let's see how this one goes. I definitely would lean on the side of the Trailblazers here because that team is stacked to say the very least. And wow, look at that. The Heat go up 3-1, end up taking it in 6, with Charles Barkley getting another Finals MVP and Finals championship. As we move into the 13th year of LeBron's career in this sim and what would be in real life from 1985 up to 1997, Stephon Marbury goes ahead and gets another incredible season here, 39.5 points per game. His teammate coming in, Chauncey Billups, getting Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year going to Shaq, and just some interesting things going on around the league. Bron still putting up great stat lines to say the very least, and now 13-time All-Star already. And looking around the league, there are some insane stat lines going on. The fact that Stephon Marbury is putting up almost 40 points a game is insane in itself, followed by Allen Houston and Rod Strickland. Our first round matchup here is going to be up against Jason Kidd, Keith Van Horn, Hershey Hawkins, and the Washington Wizards with Muggsy Bogues as their sixth man. So we should take this one, but you never know what's going to happen in these 2K sims, of course. Finding ourselves in a battle here, 2-2. They get a game 3-2. And look at that, we get dropped off by this Wizards team in 6. LeBron dropping 38 piece. It was not enough, apparently. Watching the finals from the sidelines here, Rod Strickland, Jamal Mashburn, and the Hornets up against this Mavericks team of Chauncey Billups, Stephon Marbury, and Latrell Sprewell. And Karl Malone is their big. So definitely a tough out here with this Dallas Mavericks team with how they've been playing. The Rookie of the Year and MVP on the team together. And to add that in, Karl Malone as well. It's going to be a tough out as it's going to Game 7 here, and they end up taking it all. Stephon Marbury averaging 43.9 points per game in the finals there, getting himself a chip. Antoine Jamison going number 1 overall in this draft class, followed by Vince Carter. Two obviously interesting players joining the league. Number 3, Paul Pierce going to the Sixers as well. Mike Bibby going number 4. And quite interesting draft class playing out here. Dirk ends up going number 5 as the Warriors actually trade the pick to let them move up. So LeBron still chilling at a 99 overall here. All these crazy players coming in the league. C-Webb putting up 35 and 22 a game as the MVP here with the Pelicans. Ray Allen actually kind of getting the dark horse Rookie of the Year in that draft class. Defensive Player of the Year going to Shaq. And our Pacers barely scrape together and get the 8th seed in the East. We'll take it though. The playoffs is the playoffs. Looking at the league leaders, you see Chris Webber followed by Stephon Marbury, followed by Kobe, followed by Allen Houston, followed by Bron. Rounding out the top 5 scoring-wise, a first-round matchup here of Kobe and LeBron. Not going to be an easy one because obviously Kobe is an absolute baller. So we're going to see what we can do here. Down 3-1 in this series, and we end up getting bounced in 5 by Kobe and the Bucks here. As you can see, Kobe dropping 45 and 10 in that game, and Bron dropping 43 and 4. Not enough to get it done. Watching the finals from the sidelines yet again here, Allen Houston and the Vlade Divac and the Nuggets here up against Jason Kidd, Keith Van Horn, and Hershey Hawkins and the Washington Wizards. See which one of these squads ends up getting it done. I'm going to put my money on the Wizards, and it's going to Game 7, and the Wizards end up taking it with Jason Kidd already at a 98 overall, getting Finals MVP. Moving us on to year 15 of Bron's career here, and it looks like he's no longer with the Pacers, so let's check that out and go to Player Finder and see which team Bron has actually went and landed on. Let's check it out. LeBron now with the Lakers, just like in real life. So he ends up joining this team of Steve Nash and Allen Iverson and Rick Smits in the offseason. I guess they could afford him because AI and Steve Nash are probably still on their rookie contracts. So this team will definitely be a deadly one to say the very least here. Definitely interested to see how it plays out. Stephon Marbury getting another MVP. Tim Hardaway getting 6th man of the year here. doing his thing. Some interesting stuff going on around the league, to say the very least. Let's see, our Lakers come in as the 5th seed. I would definitely expect this team to have came in higher, 25.7 points per game. Coming down and scoring a little bit for Bron, but alongside Steve Nash and Allen Iverson, you would expect it. So our first round matchup is going to be a very tough one, up against Hakeem Olajuwon, a many-time NBA champion and MVP here in the first round. We get to a 3-2 in this series, and we're going to hop into Simcast. Hopefully we can potentially push this to a Game 7 and get an insane Game 7 in this series, but it's not looking great. We get blown out by about 20 there. Bron dropping 38, 5, and 2, and it just does not go our way. We're going to be watching the finals from the sidelines yet again. Kobe making his way from the East up against Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets here. Let's see how this one ends up going. Will Kobe get himself a championship early on in his career as well? It's going to Game 7, and yes, sir, he will. Dropping 32.1 points per game in the series, getting himself a ring. Moving us into year 16 here, still the trio of Nash. Oh, wait, AI has actually dipped? Okay, so AI is no longer there. Steve Nash is really the big player next to us. Stephon Marbury going even further ahead than where he was previously. 43 points per game. Ray Allen dropping 39 a game. And Chauncey Billups dropping 35. Somehow the tandem of Stephon Marbury and Chauncey Billups are dropping about 75 points a game together from their guards, which is just insane. Our first round matchup up against the T-Wolves here. Hopefully we can knock them out in an upset. We're coming in as the 7th seed. They are the number 2 seed here. We're down 1 game, and unfortunately, this Lakers team is just not living up to the hype that was there as we get bounced in 6 here. Steve Nash dropping 31. Bron only putting up 19 in the loss. You hate to see it. Vince Carter dropping a 29-piece, and T-Mac doing his thing with 16 points and 16 assists to go alongside it. So, we're going to be watching from the sidelines yet again. Chauncey Billups, Stephon Marbury, and that insane front court up against Kobe Bryant and the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's see how this one ends up going. Mavericks out to this early lead here, and they end up taking it in 6 with Stephon Marbury getting Finals MVP, averaging over 40 points per game in the finals there, which is insane. Moving us into year 17, Bron has yet again dipped from now the Lakers. Let's see where he has ended up. So he's now with the Pacers again, going back to his old team, where he's alongside Kevin Garnett and Chauncey Billups. We'll take it. That's some definite help around him. So let's see, 95 overall Chauncey, 99 overall Bron, and 97 overall Kevin Garnett. Our centers is only a 75, but we'll take it. Stephon Marbury putting up 41 a game, getting MVP again. Defensive Player of the Year going to Shaq. And let's see where our Pacers ended up. And it looks like it's going to be another upsetting year. 41-41 with this team. That should be a sin. 26 a game from Garnett. 25 a game from Bron, and Chauncey Billups putting up just about 20 a game. And Michael Reed, oh man, I don't know how we didn't make playoffs. Bulls and Mavericks here in the finals. Is Stephon Marbury going for another one? Yes, sir, he is. Averaging 51 points a game in the finals. I don't even know how that's possible. Stephon Marbury has to be like the best player I've ever seen in one of these sims. This is insane right now. Heading into another season here, Stephon Marbury, another MVP with 40 a game. Jeez, this man Stephon Marbury is on a different level apparently. Thankfully, this year we actually do make the playoffs, coming in as the 7th seed, hoping we can upset this Cleveland Cavaliers team here in the first round that came in as the 2 seed. We're giving them a tough matchup early on, and it's going to Game 7. Hopefully we can, and thankfully we finally get out of the first round in what feels like forever. KG dropping 24 there. Bron only putting up 13 points, and maybe that's part of the issue as to why we're not doing so well. Second round here up against Keith Van Horn and Jason Kidd's led Washington Wizards team that came in the 3 seed. Hopefully we can pull up some magic here again, but unfortunately we get bounced in 5 this time. Jason Kidd dropping 36. Garnett 29 and 16 in that game, and not enough to get it done. Finals here, Tony Parker and Dirk get together again somehow up against Allen Iverson's led Clippers team. And the Boston Celtics found themselves up 3-2 in the series, ultimately taking it in 6 with Dirk getting Finals MVP there, moving us into year 19 of the sim. Still LeBron 95 overall alongside 96 overall Chauncey Billups, no longer a KG on the squad beside us. Michael Reed is our 2 guard, of course, so not too bad, but could be better. Stephon Marbury going insane, getting another regular season MVP here. Look at that all-NBA first team, man. Some absolute goats on it. And we're watching the finals from the sidelines yet again. It's looking like Dirk just went back-to-back, and he does get another Finals MVP there. Dirk goes back-to-back with the Celtics and Tony Parker, moving us into year 20. And LeBron now a 17-time All-Star at a 93 overall. And what could have been with the early championships of him, we just kind of slowed down as these years went on. And it's kind of crazy. Gilbert Arenas now getting an MVP here with the Chicago Bulls. And yet another year here, we unfortunately don't make playoffs. Tony Parker, Sean Marion, Rip Hamilton, Dirk, Elton Brand, and Jason Richardson is this Celtics squad. Up against the Warriors, Mike Bibby, Allen Iverson, Wally Szczerbiak, and Dwight Howard. Talk about these teams starting to come out crazier and crazier as the years go on. Celtics end up 4-0ing that team with Dirk getting Finals MVP, putting up 33.3 a game in the Finals, moving us into year 21 of the sim, moving on like crazy. These years are just going on and on. Now getting us to the 2006 season, I believe, which is crazy. Brought out at 90 overall, 37 years old. Going to the Knicks now, and we'll see how that turns out for him. Chris Webber getting a MVP season here with one of the lower scoring numbers of an MVP I've seen in a while. Knicks, unfortunately, not the key for LeBron. We don't make the playoffs again. Jason Richardson, Dirk, and Tony Parker all getting themselves another ring here, moving us into year 22 of the sim here. Still with the Knicks, T-Mac getting an MVP season here with the T-Wolves. And let's see how things went this season. We pick up 23 wins, so not great at all. Bron at 39 years old is the best overall player on this Knicks team. So you know things aren't going to go all that well. Celtics in the finals yet again, this time up against the Memphis Grizzlies here. And the Celtics get themselves what feels like the 4th NBA championship in a row. And they're all different getting NBA finals MVPs, as it was Rip Hamilton that time. Bron finally decides to retire here. Of course, making the Hall of Fame. No arguments about that. Finishes number 1 all-time among points, and we'll go through the rest of these, but let me just talk out the rest. If you guys made it this far throughout the video, as always, I appreciate you a ton. Put hashtag BeanSquad down in the comments below so I can show you some love for watching all the way through. I really do like this series, and I think it'd be cool to put some more of the current day NBA players in this era, maybe like Luka, like Joel Embiid, maybe, you know, just like some of the younger guys, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry. See how they would have fared in this part of the NBA. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Bean out.